Hello, welcome back. Late afternoon, the sun's going down, beautiful sky at this point in time, but that's all about to change because tonight we've got some rain coming. We really do need it, but as you know, we didn't put the tarpaulin on the roof of the house, and well, we're just going to have to wait and see. If it lasts 3 days, we're just going to have to ride it out. But what we decided to do is not panic too much and just pretend we bought the house a week later when we would have had no control of it at all. So let's kind of put our minds at ease a little bit. We're just going to have to tackle it and hope that it's not going to be that bad. But anyway, I'm on the roof here because I've just had a quote from the builder. Not the first ones, they didn't get back in contact with me, but the second ones, who I only met 1.5 weeks ago. So that's kind of quick, isn't it? And it fits in around about the price that I was expecting. We're not going to be replacing it, we're going to be repairing it, and we've gone over it all. We know what we're going to do, and they can start at this point in time at the end of March, pending the weather, obviously. So once we've sorted out the house over there, this will be ready and waiting for me. All I need now is these guys for the well to get back in contact with me, some good news, and we're rolling for the next handful of months. And I think I've found a tractor as well. But anyway, I'm going to walk the dogs because they're running around here, and the sun's going down. So I'll see you in the morning. I've been asked about possession caterpillars. We do get them here, and they make their nests up in these pine trees. They look like little balls of cobweb, and there's probably hundreds in there as well. So they come down the tree in a line, bury themselves into the ground, and then later on they'll come out as moss. But at this stage you've got to be a bit careful because I do collect the pine cones for the salamander, and if the dogs inhale them, sniff them, or they go in the eyes, it can be really dangerous. Just want to come back past the well because it's been a couple of weeks since I've had a look down here. The water level has gone down by about 2 foot, so I just want to make sure that it hasn't dropped all the way down. Yeah, it doesn't look as if it's moved too much, I don't think, but it has gone really clear, which is a good sign. So anyway, I'll just keep monitoring that and we'll come back to it. I've had the hens now for 1 week today, and I've already had 2 lots of dozen eggs, but I haven't had an omelette yet, so I'm going to test it out right now. I can't tell you what the plant's called. Christina gave it to me. She told me at least 5 or 6 times, but it just goes in one ear and out the other ear. I can't keep retaining all this information, but anyway, that there is a lovely little addition to my front area here, and it's going to be a lovely addition to the garden. Get more of these because inside of here you'll see excuse the dirty hands. It's really nice. Really tasty. I wasn't sure what to expect the first time I had them, but really nice, really nice. And they grow so quick as well. Excellent. More food, that's what we need. I know I'm going to hit my head on this at some point. Right, we had some rain last night, not too much, and looking around here, it's looking pretty dry, I'm surprised. But we are going to get some rain again in the next hour or so, apparently a 90% chance this time. We haven't had any this morning, and this seems to have dried it out quite quickly. So we'll see how this looks tomorrow, but at this point in time, it makes sense to go round, get all the rooms measured. I've got my trusty tape measure and this little gadget here, which has worked really well up to now. It's only a cheap one, but measures the rooms. I do like to alternate between the two though, because you can't always trust these things. And hopefully, when it's raining, I can get a layout on here. James is going to do the same thing as well. And when we put them together, hopefully we'll have the same ideas and we'll be singing off the same sheet. And we won't have to debate this too much. But anyway, carry on measuring. Before I do this though, it's been a while since I've used this and I don't fully trust it, so I'm going to test it one against the other. It does work. This will be an interesting test. This says the width of the house on the inside is 9.13 meters, so it's 913 centimeters. What did I just say? My God, look at that. That's pretty impressive. So I measured that at exactly with the tape measure 913 centimeters, and this has done it at, I don't even know if you can see that, so there's no point showing you it, but it does say on there 913 centimeters. So that's pretty good over a long distance as well, and there's some daylight in between, so it gives me a little bit of hope on shorter distances. Always good to test them on the longer ones. That's pretty damn cool. Excellent. So I've got everything that I need, I think, and I can always come back if need be. But before I go back home, I just want to have another look in that courtyard. So that is a really nice view, but at the moment it's being blocked by this rear wall in the courtyard. But you can see that halfway up, lower down is stones, and then they bricked on top of it. So our plan is to take the bricks down, give it a lower wall, and then you won't have to stand on a step to look over at the views. We are going to put a little area over here as well. So we come up some steps and there'll be a little platform up here for a table and chairs. Be a nice little place to sit around. But the rest of this area along here, we're going to probably take it all down. So we create a really nice open space in here. And you can see with the covered area there, it's got the original tiles on it. Unfortunately, all the wood holding it up is all rotten. So our plan is to take it all down, put new stuff up there, and then put those same tiles back up there to keep the character as much as possible. But here on this bit, that isn't asbestos. We're going to take that down probably, and that's going to allow a little bit more sunlight down in that area as well. So you do have a nice shaded area, but also a nice larger platformed area here and the courtyard. Hello. So as you can see, we've got some amazing views from on top of the garage now, and this is a concrete roof, but it had a pitched roof on top of it, which is all collapsed in. Again, with those views, it's the best from this house. And unfortunately, well, inside the house, there is a higher floor line there, and that would mean that we would have to raise the roof in order to put a door in there to come out onto here. Otherwise, the only access is through where I just came through. But that is a real expense, and we would have to get planning as well. So it may well be that we just have to ignore this area. We are going to take this bit of the old roof off though and leave it flat, and then we can make sure that it's all waterproofed. That way, further down the line, someone who buys this house might think they can do something with it. So we're going to leave the option open for them. We're going to try and incorporate it, but chances are we may not be able to. One thing I haven't showed you yet is underneath the stairwell that goes up onto the front roof. There's a nice little room in here which can be great for storage. Put your bikes and stuff in here. We haven't really decided what we're going to do with this at this point in time. It's just here. We're just ignoring it, but we will come back to it. And I think, again, nice little storage space. Right, one last thing before I head back. This unusual floor line through here, we were trying to work out what was going on. And it seems to us that possibly the area that I'm standing in, that room, this hallway, and that room there was one house, and then this was a different house behind it, and it may have been passed down through the generations, or someone bought this and then knocked through. But it does explain why the floor lines are like they are, but it doesn't explain why they left it. So much for that 3 days of solid rain, eh? We ended up with about 3 hours in the end. It's such a shame. We really do need it, and I really hope we get some very soon. Yeah, keep our eyes open for that and fingers crossed. Anyway, I'm keeping this video really short this week because there is so much that James and I need to do in order to get ourselves geared up and ready to get on with that house. All the silly little things that are no point putting it into a video. So I'm going to be doing that for the next few days, which means the next video is going to be on Saturday. I will, however, try and get a video in midweek if I get any time. I always wanted to do one time lapse of the bus from start to finish, because there's not too many views on that, and I think it's going to be very helpful for those people watching my videos to get an understanding as to why I'm in there and so on. So if I can do a time lapse without me talking in it from start to end down there, I think that'll be quite interesting. So I'll try and do that if there's any time. Otherwise, it'll be next Saturday. But before I disappear, I want to address some comments that have been made on my land here from the front to the back. Comments are more or less me running over the tractor here and what was green, turning it into a dust bowl. The area between the cork tree lines and the water line where I cut that all away, I'm turning it into a desert. And why am I destroying it all? In the name of vanity and tidiness. So just to be clear on that one there, that there's over 50 baby cork trees there, and it just might not be showing in the videos, but one day they're all going to look like this. There is no area between here and the pond where I don't have trees going on it. And it may just be because I'm standing in neighbouring lands that people don't understand my boundaries. So you have to trust me on that one. I will be putting a drone from the front all the way to the back, and then whenever I'm working in whatever area I'm in, you'll see the drone go over it and you'll know exactly where I am, and you get it in context with the boundary of my land, and hopefully that'll be a lot clearer for everybody. But from the water line to the top of the hill, I'm putting a trail through there, and I need to clear either side of the boundary as well. Now I can't get access into that area at this point in time until I cut through it, and the reason I want to do that, there is two reasons. One is obviously I want to be able to walk through my land and have a nice trail for the dogs, but also as well it gives me access either side so I can maintain it. So here are the key points. We have to maintain the land here legally. We have to make sure that we do the utmost to make sure that it's all cleared because of fires. We need to minimize the amount of chances there are, one, of the fires, but also if the fires are here, they're easier to put out. So we all are obliged to do what we got to do. And the more we all do that, then obviously the more protected we are and the less we have to worry about it. I don't actually worry too much about it anyway. Don't think about it much other than when I'm doing these videos. So if I don't do it, I could get into a lot of trouble with the authorities and I could possibly get a hefty fine slapped on me. So that's why I'm doing all the clearing up that I do. Now the neighbouring lands, what they do is they turn the land, and that just makes it really easy for them. It's a sort of lazy way of doing it, but it's no good for the soil. But because I'm living on mine, I want to pay a bit more attention to it. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Now that brings us to the next point, which is why I ran a tractor over the front here and why I keep doing it. This has all been turned. All the nutrients are lost in this soil and it's not looking very healthy. So what I've done is flatten it out first of all because I want it to look tidy. I admit that. But also as well, now we can get a blanket of grass growing on there, hopefully when we get the rain, and we'll get some other things growing on there as well. It blankets it. It then means that when that does its usual seasonal thing, that soil then is going to be able to regenerate itself and get all those nutrients back in there. That blanket will help retain the water in the soil. And we don't get much rain, but any of that stuff that we get at night, all the moisture will then go in there and then it won't be sucked up so quickly. So anyway, that's why I'm doing that. We really need to make sure this soil gets rejuvenated because I'm going to be growing food and obviously these beautiful cork trees. And after all, that is why I bought this house, so that I could grow my own food, be self-sufficient, and hopefully somewhere down the line be off-grid maybe as well, but also adding to that the beauty of it as well. But there's no point in any of that if that soil isn't going to do what it's supposed to do. So I have to pay particular attention to that. So anyway, I hope that answers the questions, and I'll end it there. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to look out for the next one. Thumbs up, subscribe, about section, blah, blah, blah. Stay happy, stay positive, and see you next week. Bye-bye.